Artists have used water-based paint media for thousands of years. Paints very similar to modern watercolor appear in paintings from ancient Egypt and also in ancient Chinese manuscripts. In watercolor, pigments are mixed with gum arabic as a binder and water as a vehicle. The most common support today is white rag paper because of its superior absorbency and longevity. Watercolor was traditionally sold in solid blocks that the painter mixed with water to reach the desired thickness. Today, most professional watercolor is sold in tubes. Watercolor is basically a staining technique. The paint is applied in thin, translucent washes that allow light to pass through the layers of color and to reflect back from the white paper. Highlights are obtained by leaving areas of white paper unpainted. Opaque watercolor is sometimes added for detail. The translucent quality of watercolor washes particularly suits depictions of water, atmosphere, light, and weather. In traditional East Asian watercolor technique, the artist employs water-based black ink as well as color, but often uses the ink without color. They regarded painting as descended from the art of calligraphy, which is also done with the black ink. In true fresco, pigments suspended in water are applied to a damp lime plaster surface. The vehicle is water, and the binder is the lime present in the damp plaster. The fresco we are looking at here was painted in around 1500 BCE by the Minoans, who lived in today's Greek island Crete about 4,000 years ago. Most fresco painters first prepare a full-size drawing. Now we know what it is, right? A cartoon. Then transfer the design to the freshly laid plaster wall before painting. Because plaster dries quickly, only the portion of the wall that can be painted in one day is prepared. The painter works quickly in a rapid staining process, similar to watercolor. The lime in the plaster becomes the binder, creating a smooth, extremely durable surface. Once the surface has dried, the painting is a part of the wall, rather than resting on its surface. The artist must have the design completely worked out before painting, because no changes can be made after the paint is applied to the fresh plaster. True or buon fresco does not permit the delicate manipulation of the transitional tones. With fresco secco, it can be possible. Fresco secco, or dry fresco, is done on finished, dried lime plaster walls. With this technique, tempera paint is applied to a clean, dry surface or over an already dried true fresco to achieve greater color intensity than is possible with a true fresco alone. Leonardo da Vinci's famous work, The Last Supper, was done with the fresco secco technique. However, he devised an experimental technique for this mural. He wanted to have more time and better color like painting on wood panel, so he used oil and tempera paint on plaster. The result was disastrous. Within a short time, the painting began to deteriorate, and by the middle of the 16th century, its figures became hard to see. Although it went through many restorations, it doesn't look like the original. It's very faded and flaky. After the Renaissance and Baroque periods, fresco became less popular. However, a revival of the fresco technique began in Mexico in the 1920s. A fresco mural is often a piece of public art that cannot be bought or sold. So such a mural in a public place is available to all classes of people equally. Diego Rivera, who was interested in socialist ideology, became a leader of Mexican muralists. The mural in the Detroit Institute of Art is true fresco depicting the hardworking people in Detroit's car industry, which emphasizes the value of the labor class.